Hello, welcome to Tuesday Time, or The Curse of the Bowman-Douglass Ghost. Made it a haunted joke because it's week 13, which traditionally is considered an unlucky, haunted, creepy number. But it's not creepy, it's our last Tuesday Time of the year of 2016. Of course, the academic year goes into 2017, but oh well. Here we go. Let's go over the words of the week. We have lacuna, Luddite, lurid, scapegoat, allay, derivative, deja vu, quid pro quo, hubris, tenacious, and our academic word of the week is considerable. Now I know you're thinking, hey, deja vu and quid pro quo are clearly not one word each. Okay, sorta. They're phrases that we have appropriated into English from other languages. Deja vu comes from French, and quid pro quo comes from Latin. But you'll see we use them as a single word in daily English usage. First we have lacuna. This is a noun. It's a gap or a space where something is missing. It's an emptiness. There's something not there. Now those of you who are in band may recognize this word because it's often used in music to talk about a pause in the music. But a lacuna is anytime that there's just something missing. There should be something there. You can have a lacuna in your heart because, you know, your pet hamster died and you loved Mr. Buttons more than life. Luddite, that's a noun. It's a person who is opposed to or afraid of new technology. It's used to label someone who's against using or implementing technology. This is, you probably have grandparents like this. They're like, I don't get the internet. I don't understand texting. I refuse to do it. I have to admit, I'm a little bit of a Luddite. Mr. Bowman is not terrific with new technology. I like it, but I'm a little scared of it, and I'm not really good at using it. The Luddites, incidentally, originally were a religious group who were against all new technologies, and we've now used that term to carry over to everyone else. And Miss Douglas has included a picture of a group of monkeys throwing poop at a computer, which she has said is a subtle jab at me. So there's that. Lurid. Lurid is an adjective. Now, this one's got a couple layers of meaning to it, all right? It used to mean something that was horrible or explicit or gruesome, all right? If something was lurid, it was extraordinarily gross, all right? But it can also label something that is exploitative and seeking attention. Now, it might be gross, it might be offensive, but it might just be using imagery that is compelling in the most base or instinctual of ways, all right? Magazine covers are often lurid. They attract attention with terrible images or headlines in order to sell more copies. The real thing they're discussing might not even be all that bad, or maybe they're just really exaggerating it. They'll have terrible images. Papers in New York and London have a lot of this stuff. A person could dress in a way that is lurid. They are luring attention. These are related roots. It's explicit and it's suggestive and it's meant to get inappropriate attention. There are newspapers in England, like the real newspaper. It's, I believe the Daily Mail, but I can't swear to it. It might be the Times, where on page 3, every day they have a picture of a naked young woman. It's bizarre. It's the Times page 3 girl. It's one of the craziest things you've ever seen in a real and serious newspaper. This is lurid. They're trying to get attention. When you see at the grocery store different newspapers and magazines, particularly the celebrity rags, you know, Kanye's insane, Kim talking about divorce. That is lurid. All right? They're seeking attention to make us buy it. Comic books through the years, particularly in the 30s and 40s and 50s, which this is from, this Women Outlaws, those were lurid covers. They were actually aimed at adults, not at like teenagers or kids like comics are now. A scapegoat. This is a noun. It's a person or a group made to bear the blame or responsibility for the mistakes or crimes of the others. So if someone's the scapegoat, they take all the blame and they take all of the punishment, all right? Now this has a religious basis. Communities used to have a religious leader symbolically put all their sins on a goat. And the goat was then either released into the wild to do whatever they do, or they were killed. And the idea being, since you put all your sins on the goat, and the goat's now gone, the sin is now gone. Now if we have a scapegoat, it could be, the teacher's out of the room for a second, they come back in, everyone's going crazy, and immediately everyone blames poor Billy, fake student, who was actually just sitting there like, oh, it's Billy's fault, he was making everyone mad. Make him the scapegoat, he gets in trouble, everyone else gets off the hook. You've probably made someone into a scapegoat at some point. You've probably been the scapegoat at some point. It's terrible. You don't want to be a scapegoat. You don't want to make others into one. It's not very fair. Allay, it's a verb. It's to calm or to quiet someone's fears or worries. it's almost always used next to the thing that's being calmed. All right, you wouldn't just say, let me allay. That's not going to make sense. You'd say, listen to me and I will allay your fears. I will allay your worries. I will allay your apprehensions, right? You put it next to the thing that's being calmed down, nearly always. Derivative. Now this is used as an adjective and as a noun. As an adjective, we'd say it's used to describe something that is unoriginal and is clearly taking inspiration or shape from something else. A lot of modern music is really derivative. The songs basically all sound the same. They use the same beat, they use the same time signatures, they use the same kind of sounds, everyone uses the same kind of auto-tunes, all the rest, right? Those are really derivative. They all sound the same. Now, as a noun, we're talking about the unoriginal thing itself. So the song is a derivative, right? Now, you can also mean a thing that, when you use that, you'd rarely use it for songs. Usually use it in science, right? Because of this process, the derivative is the thing that has come along from it that's taking the inspiration and the shape from something else, right? So usually that's science. In most conversations, you will use it as an adjective. Deja vu. Now, we know what deja vu is, but it's good to be able to explain it, all right? This one comes from French. Deja meaning again, and vu meaning to see. So you see it again. Deja vu is the experience of feeling as though you have previously done or experienced something that you're actually going through for the first time. Deja vu freaks people out. They think, oh my God, I really have done this before. It's a very convincing thing. They think it's insights into past lives or into the future. In The Matrix, they use this to really excellent effect to say that that's a glitch in the Matrix. There's a lot of theories on what's going on. The most current theory is that your brain has this little glitch where when you experience a thing, you process it through your memory before you process it in your frontal lobes, where your consciousness is actually in place. So you believe you're remembering something fractions of a second before you understand you're experiencing it in real time. As a result, it feels like you're living out your memories. It's a weird, weird feeling. All right, quid pro quo. It's a noun, kinda. It's a Latin phrase used to describe something that is given or received in exchange for something else. It's a trade-off where everyone is getting something and no one is getting something for nothing. It's used as a noun to describe the things exchanged, but is more often used as a kind of cross between a noun and an adjective to describe a relationship. I give you your grade. I don't just give you a grade willy-nilly if you don't do your work, right? You don't do your work with an expectation that it's not going to affect your grade in some way. That's quid pro quo. That's just fine. The problem is when people use quid pro quo in situations where really there shouldn't be an exchange involved. Charity, right? Politics. People should do the thing because it's the right thing to do, not because they're going to get something in return. That's when quid pro quo becomes kind of dangerous as a notion. Hubris. Ooh, this is tiny print on this slide. Hubris is a noun. It's excessive self-confidence and pride. It's arrogance. This is a negative thing. Now, it's appropriate that we're reading Greek stories right now with the epic hero and with Odysseus, because the biggest sin for the Greeks was hubris, this excessive pride. All right? It's often called the tragic flaw, because in the Greek tragedies, this is the thing that usually brings them down. They believe that they are so great and they are so excellent that nothing can defeat them, and that blinds them to what's actually going to end up hurting them in the end. That's hubris. Tenacious. Tenacious is an adjective. It's one of my favorite things. It's similar to the past vocab word diligence. It's an adjective. A thing that's described as tenacious when it just won't quit. It won't stop. It keeps going, all right? Diligent meaning hardworking. Tenacious meaning it won't let go and it won't stop, all right? Originally it was used just to describe a grip that wouldn't loosen, but it's since expanded to mean anything that is stubborn and won't let go. Now again, it's not quite the same thing as hardworking like diligence, but people often use it in the same way. If someone's diligent, they generally are hardworking. If someone's tenacious, they keep at that same task no matter what, or they keep to the same idea or the same belief, or they have a tenacious grip literally on whatever, a rope, all right? They might do it even if it's wrong. They won't let go. It's a stubbornness, all right? And again, people use it the same as diligence, but you know, they're tenacious about it. They cling to their not quite the same meaning. All right, the idiom of the week is to burn the midnight oil. This is to work late into the night. If you pull an all-nighter, you are burning the midnight oil. Now, this is alluding to the time when we didn't have electric lights, when you'd have a lantern that burned oil. And if you're burning the midnight oil, you had to stay up all night burning oil at midnight. Usually you wouldn't want to. It was very expensive. You just burned it until it was time for bed, and then, so long lights, right? All right, that's them. That's all the words of the week. That's the academic word. Oh, we didn't say the academic word of the week. Let's go back to it. That's not on the slideshow. Let's just talk about it. It's considerable. Considerable is an amount of something that is worth taking into account, which is worth noticing, right? A considerable amount of something is an amount of it that has meaning, that makes a difference. It doesn't necessarily mean a lot. It means just enough to make a difference and be considered, all right? That can be of almost anything. It can be of a physical thing. I have a considerable amount of books in my house. Lots of people have books. I have a lot of books in my house, a considerable amount. Worth thinking about, right? Worth considering. It can be amount of effort. Yeah, they didn't try all the way, but it's a considerable amount of effort. It's something that should be taken into account and thought about. All right, now we've got all of them. That's all the words of the week. That's the idiom of the week. Good luck. I look forward to hearing how you learn them. And again, my apologies for it not happening as quickly as I would have liked. All right. Goodbye.